Good morning. Good morning. Good, beautiful Saturday morning. So happy to have you all out there. Please come on in and and share. Like and share. Good morning. Come on in. Come on in. Well, good morning again, and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. I am super excited to have you here on this Saturday morning because you could be anywhere else. So thank you so much for tuning in. I believe it is better to train in Mathew is all about the words, the steps, the gestures, the posture, the facial expression, the light, and even the movement of your all is like, oh, are you at what you're actually thinking of is truth. It's really truth and it's really and what is not the good and not good and not only faith and faith, only faith and faith. And we know that we need that human touch, human relationship to all of our lives. This is this is a path, what the hands of that is, what is all the good, that has not really, really good, that everybody's going to say, that what family members, friends, also have this, and we have to learn how to do it. The other day, I think it's just and I think for this love, this love, love, after everything is just good, after love, good. Now, Matthew 5, chapter 5, verse 12, and now I tell you, love is free and free for those who seek it. That means that we can touch with all, that we can love the mind, we can walk in the midst of this opportunity to do it. We want our children to come back and say, we can take this to do that. We can also take it back, take it in the hand, take it in the God, and that means God. Test. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. I was notified that my sound was a little off. So thank you so much for your patience. But yes, when Jesus was on the cross, he even said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So, we know what they did to him, and it was all false. It was cruel, but he asked for their forgiveness as well. He prayed for them. Now, just because you love your enemies and you're going to pray for them, that does not mean that you have to allow them into your immediate group. That's not what that means. Loving everyone does not mean that you are friends with them. They have to be there in your circles or whatever. Okay. But it is essential to use discernment in selecting those who walk closely with you. And it is just as vital to love everyone as God does. Now let's talk about enemies. Enemies. Enemy is defined as a person who is hostile to someone or something. Someone who seeks to do harm to another for no apparent reason. The word enemy is derived from the Latin for bad friend. Ooh. And what is so funny to me, I guess, is that, some enemies start out being the best of friends and then something goes awry. What in the world can happen? Also, enemies can end up being one of your best friends, given open communication and allowing the time to develop the friendship. And I don't know if you would consider her an enemy, but it was so funny. One of my bestest friends, the way I met her was at work, and this was back in 75. So they didn't have a lot of integration within the departments. People were still trying to keep minorities out. And so we had an opening in our department, and I was going to apply for the job. But this young lady, she came rushing in and she asked who turned out to be my supervisor. She wasn't my supervisor at the time. Are y'all gonna get a job to that black girl? Can anybody apply? But it was so funny. I found out about that, but then I did get that job, but other openings came open. She ended up coming to our department, and we are the best of friends. So you never know. That can go either way. And I am sure many of you have heard the saying, what doesn't kill you will make you strong. Well, this includes your enemies. Sometimes God will send certain people into your life to build us up, to strengthen us, to show us different things. So we will know how to interact with different people. Enemies and frenemies are used for this purpose too. So your enemies can be there just to teach you something. I know I used to always say that I didn't have my patience was this short. My patience was this short. But in working with one young lady, I mean, she would push every button I had. I don't care if I sat in the parking lot and prayed and whatever I did, anoint myself, I'd be fine. But as soon as I get in that department and she decided she was ready, she would come in there and end up pushing my button. So it was just, oh my goodness. So she taught me, that was not okay. First of all, she was invading my space, and I knew that she was just pushing buttons. So she taught me, hey, it's okay to say, look, just step outside my cubicle. And when you want to talk to me the way you're supposed to talk to me, you can come back. And the first time I said that to her, she looked at me and I was like, no, step outside my cubicle right now. Didn't scream, didn't yell, but I had to, get to that point where I'm not going to let her dismiss my entire day. Now, if she wants to act like that, go act like that with someone else, but not in here in my space. So you have to learn. I have this little quote that says, love your enemies. It says, the beginning of love is to let those who love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit into your own image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them. I'm going to read that again. The beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit our own image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them. So you can't mold people and make them who you want them to be. You have to love them where they are. And that quote is from Thomas Merton. And then Martin Luther King Jr., he wrote an essay, Loving Your Enemies. It says, to our most bitter opponents, we say, we shall match your capacity to inflict suffering by our capacity to endure suffering. We shall meet your physical force with soul force. Do to us what you will, and we shall continue to love you. We cannot in all good conscience obey your unjust laws because non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as it is cooperation with good. Throw us in jail and we shall still love you. Bomb our homes and threaten our children and we shall still love you. Send your hooded perpetrators of violence into our community at the midnight hour and beat us and leave us half dead, and we shall still love you. But be assured that we will wear you down by our capacity to suffer. One day we shall win freedom, but not only for ourselves. We shall so appeal to your heart and conscience that we shall win you in the process, and our victory will be a double victory. Wow, what an amazing testament. And again, that shows that your enemy can teach you things. And we know, most of us know that back then it was really, really bad. But even in that, Dr. King still said and still told people that to love their enemies. So we have to do that. But sometimes it makes you wonder, why does someone want to be your enemy? You haven't done anything to them. You haven't said anything about them. You haven't looked at them funny. Many times it is even people that you don't know, or you might know them, but it's a distance person that they're not close to anything. I have gotten people to write letters to different people about me and say, some horrible things. Why? I don't know. But it makes you wonder. But people may become your enemy because they distrust everybody. They just distrust everybody. I don't know if you've ever run into that type person, but I have. They had a horrific, I guess, childhood, but they didn't trust anyone. Female, male, they didn't trust anyone. So whether you tried to be their friend, be there for them, they would say, yes, that's you're my friend, or I like you, or whatever. But they always had the tendencies of an enemy. Good morning, Peggy. Thank you for tuning in. Envy. People can be jealous of you for no reason and become your enemy. And that is really, really sad. But, I can think of an incident, and he's like, why do you have all these examples? But I can think of an incident when I was in middle school, and my parents would allow me to drive to school, which, I wasn't really supposed to be driving. But they would be in the car, but they would let me drive to school, and then we exchange places or whatever. But most times I did ride the bus. And I didn't know that many people at school, my classmates or some other people, but I wasn't one that was allowed to like go to games and extracurricular stuff. So I didn't know a lot of people. So I went to school, did my schoolwork, and it was just like any other teenager. But I noticed one particular day I had driven to school, and I got out the car, and a throng of people just standing out by where the buses would let you off. And they was like, Deborah, you better be glad you didn't get off the bus this morning, because so-and-so was going to beat your butt. Woo! Somebody from a high school, probably 4 or 5 miles away from there. I didn't know anybody in high school. So why would they be coming to my middle school to fight me? Why? The only thing I know, somebody has said something about me, and it was envy, because these are people I don't even know, would have no idea if they, if I got off the bus and they just started slamming on me for no reason, I would just be, lost. But look how God protects you. When you don't even know you're in danger. People can be your enemy out of fear. They just fearful of people. Jealousy. I wish I had what they had. They make me sick. Look at them. Every other year, they get a new car. They always wearing nice clothes. They this, they that. But you don't even know what they're doing to get those things. They may be doing some risky behavior, something that's not lawful. They may be robbing Peter to pay Paul. They can't even afford those things. You don't know. So why are you jealous? God has provided for you. People turn into enemies because of frustration. They're just mad. Every time I apply for a job, I can't get it. And every time I turn around, that one over there is getting promoted. I just don't think that's right. I just give up. I'm not going to apply for anything else. But have you looked at yourself to see what skills you have, if you're working on your skills, what you are doing to move up? Do you ever ask the question, I apply for this position, and in my mind, I have all the qualifications and I didn't even get an interview. Is there some feedback that you can give me that will assist me in the future? You don't get frustrated. Okay. Misunderstandings. Somebody can get mad from a misunderstanding. I remember years ago when our neighbors that are on our left, when they first moved in, the boys would always be out there throwing baseballs. No problem. But our dining room window came up cracked, and the ball was just laying there. We didn't have any kids playing ball. So my husband, approached the neighbor, and, and he says, well, sir, I asked my kids, his boys, and he said they didn't do it, but I don't plan to be moving anytime soon. So I'll go ahead and pay for it because we need to, get along with our neighbors. So now that could have, went the other way, and we could have had neighbors that are our enemies now, but it didn't. But misunderstandings do happen. But we never know what others are going through on a daily basis. Why they act or react in a certain way. You see them today and they're fine. You see them the next day and speak, and they look at you like, so so it's you have to be upright. So if you are right, you haven't done anything, and you're not aware of anything that you have done, sometimes you have to be the bigger person and do what God would want us to do. So we don't always um, just take people at where they are, because we have bad days, and although we may not intend to, we may say something that rubs someone the wrong way, or we may not mean it in a certain way, but they may take it a certain way. So we just have to overlook things. So in order for us to love our enemies and pray for them and do so sincerely, we need to always remember the old saying, what would Jesus do? And do it the right way. So yes, we must love our enemies. So love your enemies, regardless of what they have done. Just love them anyway. Because a lot of times what they mean for evil, God will turn that thing around for good. So love your enemies and pray for them. Sometimes they don't know. They don't have a relationship with God. Or they are going through so much that they're just, instead of being humble and saying, I need this, I'm going through this, I'm sick, or something happened with my finances, or whatever, they just strike out and start being negative and evil and turn into your enemy. So we don't know what they're going through. So just pray for them, that whatever they're going through, that they'll get over it, and that they don't have a relationship with God, that they will get it. And I hope you're listening to me, young man. This will help you so much in the long run. And then if you have an enemy and they're hungry, feed them. You are the young man in school, and you're just super, super smart. So people are always making fun of you, looking for eyes. You're nothing but a nerd. You don't do anything outside of school. All you do is do schoolwork, and they're always making fun of you. But they come to school one day and you notice they're sitting by themselves and not with their friend, and they are just sitting there and they're not eating. And then you see them the next day, the same thing. Offer them something to eat. Hi, I noticed you're sitting here by yourself. Did you forget? You have to say you don't have money for lunch. Did you forget your lunch today? And if they don't have it, share yours. Or if you have the money, give them the money. Well, I'll spring for your lunch today, no problem. And see, that's how those relationships turn around. I was your enemy. I made fun of you. I did this, this, this. But when I was hungry, you fed me. My friends just left. But the person that I chose as my enemy, I was just going to pick on them and do things wrong. That's the only person that stepped up to help me. If they don't have clothes, give them some of your clothes. You notice someone coming to school, they're wearing the same thing. You notice it's dirty. They were a person that was always clean and everything, and you notice you might begin to smell a little odor. They may be homeless. You don't know their circumstance, and they cannot, and if it's someone young and still in school, they're with their parents, so they can't do any better. Help them out. If a teacher haven't noticed, mention it to the teacher, so the teacher can pull them aside and give them some clothes, because if you walk up to them and give them something, they may they would appreciate it, but it'll make them feel some type way. So if you mention it to a teacher or a guidance counselor or somebody, they can call them to the side, and say, well, I have these clothes for you. They don't have to say where they came from. And if you need to come in and shower or whatever in the locker room before everybody gets here, that's fine. Before first period, that's fine. Then find out what's going on. I mean, the counselor then can find out what's going on and get them the help that they need. But I just think, I'm talking about associates, and we need to have good friends in our lives, because that makes us happy and it makes us prosper when we know we have a support system. But everybody around us is not going to be good for us. Everybody around us is not going to be our friends, but it is important to love them as well. So I wanted to make sure that I got that message out. So thank you so much for tuning in this morning. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else, but you tuned in to Build Your Best Life. So I really appreciate it. Please join me on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be March 8th with my guest, Miss Angela Cooper Nixon from Nassau, Bahamas. She and I are going to be talking about types of friends. Types of friends. Remember, this month we're talking about what? Family, friends, and foes. So we're going to be talking about types of friends, and you would be totally surprised and interested in what the things that we're going to bring out. So please join us. And thank you so much for tuning in today. And remember, you can always catch me by going to my website. It's up on the screen now, www.buildyourbestlife.org. You can go out each Monday and read my blog for the week on my website. You can also read about me. You can look at the calendar of events to see what events are coming up as well. You can visit the services that I offer, which is coaching, consultations, speaking, and webinar speaking. And also, you can get a copy of my book, Build Your Best Life. If you order the book on my website, you will get an autographed copy. You will get it quickly because I do have them in stock. And if you prefer the Kindle version, go on Amazon.com and you can get your Kindle version. But please visit my website. Also, if you are a guest on, or you're like, I'm not sure where to find her because you're looking on my regular page of Deborah Smith. That's not where I am. I'm on my business page, Build Your Best Life. But if you go to my website, and on that home page, if you go down to the bottom to the social media icons, if you click on those icons, it will take you directly to my pages. And if I'm on live, then you will get that live content. So thank you so much. Have a great Saturday. But remember, your life is what you make of it. Please follow my basic principles and begin to build your best life, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but now. And remember, building your best life is our business. And that's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're in Jacksonville or North Florida area, there's a strawberry festival going on in Clay County this weekend. Sounds like it's going to be fantastic. And shout out to my effective living community. It's out and about in the park today. So thank you so much. Be blessed. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.